All right, we're going to continue our talk about function operations and compositions. Now, on Friday, we looked at examples 32 through 37 and just talked about how you can add two functions together, you can subtract, you can multiply by 2, and things like that. And really, that you have done before. You may not have used the function notation like we were using on Friday, but those concepts you have carried out. Okay, now starting with example 38, this is a little different. You've not seen this before. So let's see, I'm going to jot down our functions that we're using down here so that we can see them. So we've got 3 different functions we've been using. The first one is function f, then we have function g, and function h. Okay, so we have done, let me just refresh your memory. If I ask you to find f of -2, then you would take -2 is what you're plugging in for your variable x, and then you would just use order of operations to simplify. So this would be -6 minus 8. So f of -2 equals -14. Okay. Or when you plug in -2, -14 comes out. Another way you can look at this is this function f. If we were to graph it, it's a linear function, so it would make a line. So this also says that you would have the point -2, -14 on that line. Okay, so that's just evaluating using a number. Okay, now 38, if you look at 38, it's f of g of 5. Okay, you've got multiple grouping symbols here. And what you're going to do is you're going to start on the inside. So you're going to start with finding g of 5. So we're going to go g of 5 is, and then plug in 5. It's a function g, and this is 50. Okay, so that's that inside piece. G of 5 is 50. So when you take this and substitute that in for g of 5, then you have the statement f of 50. Okay, so if I'm replacing g of 5 with 50, this statement now says f of 50. So we're going to take 50 and plug it into our function. So this is 150 minus 8. So this would be 142. Okay, so the result is 142. So f of g of 5 is 142. Okay. Okay. Let's do one more of those just so you can see it again. I'm just going to make something up. So h of f of, no, we'll do 0. Okay, so now, again, you're going to start with this inside piece. You're going to do f of 0. So I'm going to take 0 and I'm going to plug it into function f. So f of 0 would be 3 times 0 minus 8, or f of 0 would equal -8. Okay, so again, so this -8 is replacing this f of 0. Okay, so now when I plug that -8 in to that statement, my statement now reads h of -8. So I'm going to take -8, plug it into function h. You get 64 plus 3, so that's 67. Okay, so the result is 67. So h of f of 0 is the value 67. Okay, all right, so that's how you do a composite function work. Go to your inside most statement, find the value of that, and then you're going to use that to then work your way to the outside and find your next value. Okay, so we did this with specific values, but you can also do it just with the function. So you put one function inside of another. Okay, so I will show you how that works. Okay, so this one, you're doing g of f of x. Okay, well, what is f of x? Well, f of x is the 3x minus 8. Okay, so g of 3x minus 8. Okay, so all I did was I just substituted what f of x is equal to. Okay, and it's 3x minus 8. You are now going to take this whole thing, because you're doing g of 3x minus 8. You're going to take all of that and substitute it in for the variable in g. Okay, so that's going to be 2
Can we get Andrew Stevens to the office, please?
times 3x minus 8, and that's going to get squared. Okay. Another way you can think of this is if you don't want to write this statement right here. Sometimes kids want to say that that statement confuses them. I just want to go right to this next step. So you can also think of it that way. So you can think of it as f of x goes inside of g. So you could just say, okay, here's f of x. I'm going to put it inside g, and I just want to start with this statement, and that's fine also. Okay, so we do need to simplify this one though. So we have 2, and we have this quantity 3x minus 8 is squared. So that means 3x minus 8 times 3x minus 8. So we're going to FOIL. So 9x squared minus 24x minus another 24x plus 64. Okay, I have some like terms I can put together. And then I'm going to distribute my 2. Okay, and there's your final statement. So that is g of f of x. Okay, so take a minute, look at that, see if you understand how we came up with this statement. Okay, so that's the most important part today, is that you understand where this statement came from. So we took f of x and put it inside of g of x. Okay, number 40. Now this one says f of x. So you're putting f of x inside of itself. Okay, so what that's going to look like is 3 times, okay, I'm putting f of x inside of itself, 3x minus 8. Okay, so the function f of x gets put into x. So now just distribute. And this is f of x, 9x minus 32.